Oh, didn't have the intro video as I was expecting, but we're live, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. I haven't used StreamYard in a while, so I was expecting my little 5-second intro, but we're good to go. Kinetics, good to see you, as always. Einar, good to see you in the chat. I take it you're British by the profile picture. Or no, British. From the South. I take it you're from the South.
Close enough.
A little sleep deprived right now. Give me a break. Yeah, so it's good to see everybody here. We're going to let people trickle in, and we have got a whole bunch to talk about today. Never a dull moment in HEX. We've got the developer of Internet Money Wallet, KG. If you don't already know, he's developing an alternative wallet, potentially a safe haven from MetaMask if and when they decide to, bow down to the bug eater overlords, as if they haven't done that already. But, MetaMask is still safe. I don't want this stream to scare anybody, right? But you might have all heard about the Ledger hack that just happened. You might be wondering what exactly happened there. So we're going to try to break that down, first of all, in the best of our ability. Just know that I'm not a developer, neither is KG. So, we're not going to give you the most technical explanation, and I doubt you really want that anyway. But a lot of people are concerned because they're like, oh, shit, I have a ledger. Am I going to be safe? Am I going to lose all my money? So the way I understand it is this. The latest news that happened with Ledger 2 days ago is that, and this only happened for a period of about 5 to 6 hours for the majority of websites. Any website using the Ledger software package in their wallet connection service, they had injected malicious code in that. So it's nothing to do with technically the Ledger itself. Like if you have a Ledger currently, it's probably still going to work fine. Now that said, I hate what the company's done. I don't trust them. This is like strike 4, honestly. I should have ditched them, and I'm going to stop promoting them going forward. But I still have a ledger that I use, and I have Trezors as well, and I also am leaning towards going forward just a good old fashioned hold your own single private key, split it up if you want. Have an algorithm to switch around the seed words if you want to make it even safer, but I've actually been saying this for a long time, and I know some people a while back got a little triggered by this, but I say that hardware wallets don't lower your risk. They actually just provide different benefits and different risk. So the benefit is that your wallet is air gapped, right? If someone steals your computer, they can't hack into your MetaMask and brute force your password, right? Because you would hypothetically have the ledger key. Now, theoretically, even if they steal the ledger, you would hope that there's no firmware exploit 0-day thing, but I'm sure the CIA probably has one, right? We don't know, and we don't know because we don't work for the company. So the more attack surface you have, the greater probability it is that something can go wrong, meaning the more centralized companies that you have to trust to get the code right, the more there is probability for something to go wrong. So, MetaMask is open source code. Internet Money, I believe, is open source code, correct?
Coming soon, very soon.
Coming soon, very soon. Well, yeah, and that's a good standard. Obviously, when you're in the early stages, things are a little different. So, Rabby Wallet's another one, open source code, more eyeballs on it, and that's not to say that they're perfect. But Ledger is a closed company, and when I say this is strike 4, let me tell you guys. In the past, Ledger has done a couple of shitty things, and it's really unacceptable. Number one, they lost all your data. They lost your, address, phone number, email, and name, all the customer sign-up data. In 2020, they lost it and it got leaked online. Everybody has a copy of that. Now, you could say, well, companies get hacked all the time. That's normal. Sure, but for a crypto security company, it's just absolutely a joke. But yes, you should be using throwaway emails and change your password every time. Don't use the same password for everything. Just general security practices, and you'll be fine from these data exploits that have happened in all kinds of websites. All kinds of popular websites, and your data is being sold on the dark web right now, most likely. You can actually hire services to tell you that. So that's strike 1, though, because it's a security company, crypto company. They shouldn't be doing that. Strike 2 was that it was recently leaked that they basically have analytics tracking on Ledger Live software. Now, you don't need to run Ledger Live software to use your Ledger. You can connect it directly into MetaMask and use HD integration or whatever. So a lot of people don't use Ledger Live. I don't use Ledger Live. Ledger Live is a wallet browser software on your computer, but it turns out that was tracking and sending basically all your data, IP data, every little action you took. They were sending analytics back to the company. And for them, it's probably just, oh, well, we're a company. We have to collect data to make better decisions. But one thing I like about Internet Money, for example, or GoPulse.com is that you all have the ethos that the best way to protect customer data is to not collect it at all, not to
Exactly.
not to whore yourself out to become a data miner collector to hopefully sell out to another middleman one day or get bought out, because that's the value prop of a lot of these companies. They know if they're a data miner, they track everything their users are doing and the trends in crypto. Maybe they can have some alpha, some edge, and maybe they can sell that later on at a certain point. So that wasn't very cash money of them. Also, on top of this, we have had what was the other one? Yeah, the CEO comes out publicly saying, well, we could technically have a backdoor on all these devices if we wanted to, and everyone, and he said that in jest or with sarcasm, but just the attitude in which he said that made a lot of people suspicious of, was that even really
Sure.
sarcasm? Like, I don't know, man. If you had to guess, wouldn't you say like the CIA is probably already in bed with them? Like, are they a French company? I don't know. Nothing against the
They
French. I'm just
Man, why you gotta do that to the French? No, they they are a French company. I I kind of think that once you get to a certain level, regardless of who you are, at some point, some three-letter agency comes knocking on your door and says, "Hey, you thinking about complying? You like your family? Complying is a good option if you love your family." So I feel like I'm not sure there's at like those levels, I'm not sure there's a way around or a way around it.
it's tough, right? It's the predicament of getting too big and losing your morals along the way, losing the reason that you were here, and really selling out.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, that was strike three was just an offhand remark, publicly by the CEO saying, well, and he actually raised a good point because he made people think, well, how do we know that there's not a firmware exploit in the device itself or in the software that they use? Now, Ledger Live, guys, is the software. Ledger Nano is the hardware
Hmm.
wallet. Again, you don't have to use Ledger Live, but what they also had built was a wallet connection library. And this wallet connector library was being used by some popular websites like CowSwap, Sushi Swap, and Revoke Cash, and surprisingly, some other big ones, some sites that people visit pretty frequently. So there was a chance that if you connected to these websites during that, 5 to 8 hour window where everybody was kind of frantically trying to get their shit together, there's a chance that you could have accidentally signed a message that would have drained your wallet. Now, I think total, there's only been $500,000 extracted, which, globally is not the end of the world, but that's $500,000 that certain people won't get back. And now everyone's probably sitting around wondering, well, what about my wallet, right? What about my wallet? And I want to just tell you guys from my understanding, this is not actually like, you know, first of all, MetaMask has disabled Ledger Live support as a kind of indication that they are no longer worthy of your trust. And I agree with that. But if you just have a ledger that you're using, and if you didn't use crypto at all on December 14th, you're probably fine. You're fine. You're fine. Okay. Even if you did use crypto, if you didn't sign any suspicious transaction during that tiny time window on sites like, CowSwap or whatever, you're also probably you're fine. Right. Just look in your wallet. If all your funds aren't drained, you're fine.
You're
Okay.
good.
If your funds are still there. People are fixing this, is what I'm saying. But the fix is not necessarily on the Ledger side. A lot of the fixes for this particular issue were with the website hosts, the DeFi platforms, kind of taking I don't want to say a lazy approach, but they use this Ledger CDN package that for easier wallet connection. And so they sacrifice security for ease of use. So by using a third-party package, any DeFi website that was doing this, even though CowSwap's not affiliated with Ledger, if they were using the Ledger software on their front end, they were temporarily affected. Now, because of the outroar in the community, every website I've heard of has fixed their issues, and many DeFi platforms such as yourself are making a point to say, hey, we weren't even using that version, or you're safe now. We've updated our packages again. And so I've been ranting for a little too long. Let's just hear your side as a wallet provider. Did this affect you personally, and how did you react?
No, you're bringing up a lot of really good points. So, yes, you are correct in that it wasn't wallets themselves. So, for instance, Internet Money or MetaMask was not using the Ledger Connect kit. It was for dApps. So the Internet Money wallet at no point in time ever had that associated with its code. It was never a risk. Internet Money users don't have to do anything unaffected. Now, our DApp, we were leveraging the Ledger Connect kit, but the exploited versions, for those who want to just get a little nerdy real quick, was version 1.1.5, 1.1.6, and 1.1.7. And so we were leveraging 1.1.0, and there's reasons to, some software development teams will always upgrade to the newest version, which there are pros and cons to that. Some software teams will take their time and see how new versions play out. And in our case, taking our time and seeing how the new versions played out really helped us. So
I
now
want to stop you right there. I think slow and steady wins the race in crypto. I think you don't want to move fast and break things, just like the Fox team has done, just like, famous. There was an exploit with Balancer. This reminds me of the Balancer exploit that didn't affect PHUX because they were like, maybe we're not going to enable that new feature quite yet because it's brand new, and let's let other people be the guinea pig. So good ethos.
Exactly. It's like, okay, when, in a military situation, someone's breaching the door, right? Some guy's in the back, but some guy's breaching the door. And, so let other people breach the door in crypto, right? And that's what when we say battle tested, that's what it means. It's unfortunately means that somebody else went through the door first. And so now what we've done is we have reconstructed our DApp in the way that we no longer at all leverage the Ledger Connect kit, even the version we were using that was not exploited. So this next update that we're going to push to our DApp, it's going to completely take out the Ledger Connect kit. So
awesome, dude. Yeah, great to hear that Internet Money users not affected. I love the drip, by the way. The hoodie you got going on there, awesome.
Thanks.
Einar
Shout out
says
to
I'm picking a new one.
cryptowares.net.
Who?
Oh, it's a community site, cryptowares.net. We don't get paid for it. They made a bunch of Internet Money merch. So, yep.
Nice. Yeah. Always good to promote the merch, guys. They're selling shovels to gold miners over here.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
but Einar is picking a new wallet, not sure which one. Look, I've got my eyes on Rabby. I've got my eyes on Internet Money. Those are my backup top two. I still use MetaMask. I haven't thrown my Ledger in the garbage, even though I should. One thing you can do if you're worried about Ledger itself and all these firmware updates, and well, what if the next firmware update, because every time they update software, it's a new opportunity for something to go wrong. It happened in Bitcoin, right? When they upgraded Bitcoin software in 2017, they found a bug that could have printed a bajillion Bitcoin, and luckily they found it early and not some hacker. So with blockchain software, it's really, really hard. You don't want to rush it, and it's a predicament, right? So what you can do if you have this Ledger and now you're upset like I am and you think Ledger's bullshit like I do, you can consider taking your 12 or 24 word seed phrase and just backing it up on a brand new instance of a fresh MetaMask, Rabby, Internet Money. And that way your ledger is no longer really in use. You could run it over with a truck or something and whatever makes you feel better. And you can import your private key seed phrase into a fresh instance install of a wallet without actually having to connect Ledger, without having to do it through Ledger. So that's an option for all your existing funds, right? But for new funds going forward, look, Trezor seems like in history, Trezor has been fine, a little bit better as a hardware wallet. History has been nicer to Trezor. Mm-hmm. Do you have any other preferred hardware wallets?
Well, I would agree that history has been kinder to Trezor. I think they're winning the exploit race here. As far as other options, I mean, it's actually interesting timing. So this Salberto just asked, have you already talked about Keystone? So I don't have enough input yet to say that I would recommend Keystone, but they have reached out to us as Internet Money, and they've sent us a test device. I thought it was in reach here. And so a lot of the Internet Money users are asking about Keystone. So we've started Keystone research, and it seems like they are one of the bigger players that's been around for some time, that has a large community of people testing it. So I'm not ready to make the Keystone recommendation yet, but I'm leaning towards I think that's going to be a good third alternative to throw in with Ledger. Well, previously Ledger and now Trezor.
Trezor. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I will throw in Tangem,
Oh,
Tangem,
yes.
because I know that first of all, I like how it looks. I'm a sucker for good looking hardware.
UX, baby.
But yeah, but also they support PulseChain, I believe. Like they deliberately have a PulseChain app, so they're friendly to the PulseChain ecosystem. But these new things are all just not they don't make risk go away. They take some risk away and then they introduce a different new risk, which is firmware updates. Now you've got to worry about there being a backdoor in the device that you just bought, right? So, I mean, I think if you were to ask like a Richard Hart, for example, I believe I remember Richard saying like that he's not a fan of hardware wallets at all, and that's totally fine. I teach that in my course at all. Like the hardware wallet section part is totally optional. And a lot of the
Mm.
times people are better off just with good old fashioned 12 words in your head, write them down, split them into different chunks, have a codex that swaps one word for another, things like that. So even if someone did find your seed, it wouldn't be real. So I want to address Einar as well. He said something about hearing about Rabby getting compromised. I don't think that's true. You hear anything about that, KG?
I cannot confirm or deny that. I don't know as a statement of fact.
I'm like nearly positive that's not the case. One of the things Rabby actually protected users from the Ledger hack was Rabby lets you preview the transaction and see where your funds end up going. And so the people that were going to use the malicious exploit from Ledger through the Rabby wallet, they would have actually seen a preview of all that money going to the drainer's address, and they would have actually had more information to base their decision off of and say, wait, this seems a little fishy. I'm out. I'm going to back out of this transaction. Right. So I've only seen good things about Rabby. Right. Like I'm not aware of the latest Rabby FUD.
Yeah. And, you know, being a wallet provider, people think that oftentimes we're going to sit here and say awful things about other wallets. I mean, other wallets are doing cool things. And I think that actually this Ledger case is a perfect example of what I'm about to say. I think that there's a use case to use multiple software wallets and multiple hardware wallets. Yes, with the new person, we're not going to say, hey, welcome to crypto. I need you to download these 5 wallets and buy these 6 devices. We're just not going to do that. But as you get into crypto and you start to input more funds and you want to increase your security, it could make a lot of sense to, let's say, run Internet Money, MetaMask, and Rabby in tandem. Or if you are using hardware wallets, use 2 or 3 and split your funds up, right? Because hardware wallets people often tout as if they're the holy grail, the ultimate of crypto security, and they're very good. But we've just seen that having a hardware wallet, if you connected to this malicious app, did not matter. You got your money stolen anyways. So how do you best mitigate that? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Split up your funds and have various, pots in different ways you can access them. So if you got a little spending cash on your mobile wallet, maybe you got a Trezor, on a multi-sig, whatever. You can get crazy with it. But point being is you should, my security advice, not financial advice, is you're probably safer splitting up your funds amongst different wallets and different hardware devices. So that way you can mitigate your risk if one does get exploited. You're not losing everything.
Yeah. Multiple wallets is huge. That's just a great tip in general, right? Multiple seed phrases, multiple instant. You can make new browser users on Chrome or Brave.
Exactly.
Just make a new user, flip flop back and forth. Because once you start getting in the 100 grand, 6-figure range, you start to actually like even if you maybe only got 5 figures in crypto right now, one day there's going to be 6. One day it might even be 7, and then you're going to feel a lot weirder having all that money on one address, right?
Exactly.
So yeah.
And
So
and
yeah.
also, well, another point about using multiple wallets is like, okay, a lot of people will go for software wallets and say, I want one wallet that's going to solve all my needs. And there is no wallet right now that can solve every user's entire need. So, I mean, sure, one wallet may be the perfect wallet for you, but there are instances where running two wallets, even from an, a feature standpoint or an accessibility on the crypto web standpoint, makes sense. Like, you know, internet money. Even though I'm the founder of internet money, I still run MetaMask in parallel to my internet money. I'm using internet money about 80 to 90% of the time now. But like, one prime example is the Liquid Loans just launched. Shout out to them. But right now they only support MetaMask wallet. They don't support Wallet Connect. They don't support any other wallets. So I physically am
Oh,
unable to use internet money wallet there right now. So,
interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's kind
so
of
what
the gold standard. So
it, exactly. So it's like everywhere you go on EVM blockchains, that MetaMask is going to be supported. So, and we're talking with Liquid Loans. We're working out getting internet money natively integrated. There's a little Easter egg alpha for you. But point being is there are cases to use multiple wallets, and I think multiple wallets fits most people. Most people will find themselves using multiple wallets.
yeah,
Point
I
blank.
say test them out now. I mean, you guys know my case personally. It takes a lot of time for the Lindy effect for me to trust a wallet, but it doesn't mean I haven't used Internet Money and Rabby in addition to MetaMask because I like to be familiar with these things as a I actually don't even think it's a matter of if. I think it's a matter of when MetaMask sells out. And shout out to Richard out there, who I hope is also building a wallet or keychain. Maybe keychain might even be a better nomenclature for it. But it's just good to be familiar with the way these wallets look, where all the buttons are. It's just like prepping, right? In the real world, it's like you store up some cans of food or whatever for maybe in a year or two. You're going to need to switch to
Good
Rabby
point.
or Internet Money, and thank God we have these guys out here trying to build truly decentralized products that aren't tracking you, that aren't sending all your money to or your info to JP Morgan or whatever the powers that be, the bug eaters, the lizard people. I'm pretty sure KG is one of us. He doesn't look like a lizard to me. So
I hope not.
thank you. We got a
Yeah,
question about will the wallet work on IPFS? All wallets, I don't think IPFS really affects the way that wallets work. Every wallet I've seen has worked on an IPFS website. Does yours?
yeah. We work on IPFS. We've done testing with, obviously because PulseX going IPFS. We've done testing there, and so far zero issues reported with interacting on IPFS.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've got someone asking a kind of a hard question over here, which is very important to ask. Very important to ask. Why should we use your internet money alternative, right? Let's hear what makes this more secure than maybe others out there.
Sure. So there are a couple parts to this question, a few rather, I should say. So in terms of just seed phrase and private key generation, let's compare it to MetaMask and Trust Wallet. And I believe Rabby does 12 words as well. But if I'm mistaken on Rabby, just let's disregard that for Rabby. But for MetaMask and Trust Wallet, they're using 12-word seed phrases, and they're actually using what's called 128-bit entropy, whereas Internet Money uses 24-word seed phrases and 256-bit entropy. So just from a standpoint of being able to brute force, that's already one security layer. Yes, it's double the words to remember and write down. But if you have a 12-word seed phrase, you could still import into the wallet. So we're not saying you can only use 24 words. You can use 12, 15, 18, and 24 words. But the wallet itself generates 24 words. Now, another thing is we don't communicate any information or data to our servers, to us. So that is a layer of security in and of itself, that you are protected and remain anonymous to us. Your seed phrase and private key is stored. Wow, I was fast.
I
He's
know.
too fast. He's in my mind. He's so fast.
It needs to be stopped.
It, it is stored on the user's local device and encrypted. And it only gets unencrypted when the user physically logs into the app with their password or passcode. So let's say you're a user on our app, and oh, hey, I forgot my password to sign in. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do to help you. I mean, fortunately and unfortunately, like your apps, like you better remember that password is what I'm trying to say, because there's no recovering it, or you better have saved your seed phrase securely, because there's no tech support to do there. Now, there is an inherent risk with all software wallets, not just internet money. So I think that we just share that same inherent risk. But what Don Montoya, the co-founder of Internet Money, likes to say is our job as a wallet is to make sure that your greatest security threat is yourself. And that is what we're trying to do, is put as many fail safes as we can, put as many layers of encryption and entropy and all those things for you security nerds, and just taking away any data collection, any communication of your sensitive information to us. And at that point, it's like, just don't get wrench attacked or connect to malicious dApps or, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. You are the biggest risk to yourself. The more shit you connect to, the more probability there is for something to go wrong. Also, so the answer to your seed phrase stored online is no. Thank God. That would be a real shame, right? And you should definitely be asking that question. That's like one of the most important questions. Quick example with the 24-word seed phrase is basically this, right? You got a 12-word seed phrase that MetaMask makes for you by default. KG, he defaults you to the 24-word. Why is that better? Well, some people split up their seed phrases. Simple example is, you got 6 words written down over here, 6 words written down over there. If somebody finds 6 out of 12 words, it only takes about an hour to brute force a 6-word, the other 6 words. If somebody finds 12 out of your 24 words, it is like 12 factorial. I mean, no, it's not even that. It's almost impossible if they don't know the other 12 words. They don't even know the other 12 words. It's going to take them, it's not even possible in a lifetime, right? But if they know 6 out of 12, 6 out of 12 takes like minutes to hours. Having 12 out of 24 is impossible to guess the other 12. So that's kind of how the security benefits from 24. But there's also so many things that you as a human being can do to, write them down in different ways. Have, again, like a decoder where this word actually means this word, but maybe you're the only one that knows the decoder. So just take responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. Spider-Man, great movie. That's the way we do things in crypto. That's the way we do things here. It's a lot of times when people get hacked, it is kind of your own fault. Now in this unfortunate Ledger thing, it's not really. It's like, and luckily not a whole lot of money was lost to it. Luckily only $500,000 was lost, but that's people's potential life savings. Some people could have lost it all. You got to be careful out there. It's really, crypto's like walking in through a minefield. So
unfortunately, yes, it is. And that's why it's going to be hard for us to get adoption, because, not us internet money, but us as crypto, because we can say that, oh, Ledger sucks and down with Ledger. And yeah, to a degree, yes. I mean, I can't disagree with that statement, but necessarily, but it's like, this isn't instilling confidence in people. Hey, Christmas time, you hear about this? One of the number one hardware wallets people just got wrecked. You hear about that? No, that's not. and now we have to say like, oh, be careful. They can just put malicious code. So it's like, this is a net loss for the industry, even if there are alternatives, in my opinion, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think every hack sets us back. I mean, FTX set sentiment back for an entire bear market. And if it wasn't FTX, it would have been Celsius or BlockFi or Luna or all these things that are just bad code or bad people. And even the Ledger thing, again, it wasn't the Ledger device itself. You could probably still use your Ledger device just fine, although I'm looking at getting rid of mine out of principle. But most people out there are totally fine with their Ledger and safe, because the real issue is that it's just this code developer package that Ledger built for other DeFi apps, dApps, to make life easier to connect your wallet to. But when everybody starts using, prepackaged code that all relies on other people, and there's dependencies, 1 or 2 layers deep, and they don't write from scratch. Well, if everyone's borrowing off of this one, Wallet Connect package, Ledger Connect package, and they get hacked, right? And then someone injects bad code into that package, then who knows how many real DeFi websites that could affect. So it's on a lot of different people. Like, it's on the individual developers to be responsible about that. It's also on the hardware companies to not, give ex coworkers access to update the code base without even having another developer double check it. That just seems like a terrible coding practice in general. Like the guy was able to push that code update without like a peer review or like a,
Yeah.
what's it called in GitHub, right? When you have another developer check it out first.
Yeah, it's a pull request,
Pull
code review,
request. I
peer
mean,
review. Yeah.
so like I guess he approved his own pull request, like not needing someone else to, as an ex-employee. Like how crazy is that? I mean, it's just wild. Why no support on Firefox, KG? They want to know.
We're just not there yet. We currently support Android, iOS, and as a Chrome extension. And you got to be careful, not you as the user, but as a product development team when going to new platforms, because it's not just copy and paste. Each platform has its own nuances. Even we're supported on Brave right now, Brave browser, even though we haven't built for Brave, because they just take the updates from the Chrome extension. And even though it's literally taking the updates, there are still unique bugs over there that don't exist on the Chrome extension. That's why we don't say, hey, we're on Brave, because we haven't actually started optimizing for Brave. So we want to get the Chrome extension, the iOS app, and Android app really refined, and which, well, I guess we'll get into in this conversation. We're almost there. And so we will expand to Firefox. We're just not there yet, and it's not something we're going to rush.
Yeah, that's a really good point, man. Like it's not as easy as just copying and pasting, right? You have to develop for iOS, for Android. There's all kinds of different dependencies and stuff, and it's hard enough probably to manage 3 versions. So
it is.
I think so far what you've accomplished in 2 years is significant, but it's good to know there's always more on the way. Some people out there like Firefox, so that's cool. I'm being reminded of other bullshit that Ledger has done, and I think it's funny. So I want to show you guys something really quick. That here, let me show you what Ledger has done in the past, thinking that they're cool, that they're actually just terribly stupid.
Is it the bright orange hat?
You guys remember the orange hat? Does anybody remember the orange hat? Here, I am going to share this with you guys. So Ledger put out an ad saying, hey, if you buy one of our ledgers, you get this really neat orange glowing yellow hat that has a pocket on it that you fucking, you store your ledger in the pocket on your hat like a dork?
First, that has to be a meme. That has to be. Like, they had to have been joking, bro.
Like there was a group of people sitting around a marketing team meeting saying, yeah, it would be awesome. The bright Bitcoin orange hat. You can put your ledger on. They also advertise regularly holding your ledger around your neck like it's a fucking, dog tag type of deal. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to get freaking mugged when I'm out on the street. And yes, most people don't know what a ledger is. They think it's like a USB stick, but I know what it is. I know a lot of people know what it is. I'm not wearing my ledger on my neck or on my keychain. Like that's ridiculous.
It's like getting a stack of $100 bills in a big rubber band and just slapping it to your head. Like, yo, what's up?
Yeah. Let's go. Exactly what that is, dude. Let's go clubbing in Miami. Hat. This is the please rob me hat. Yeah, Archie's right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Come here. I'm a Bitcoin soy boy. I just love orange so much. I want you guys to know that I have a bunch of money in my hat right here.
Exactly.
Awful. They should be ashamed of themselves. And let me try to also find just like there's an advertisement where it's like all hip and cool and trendy. They're showing a bunch of young people wearing their ledgers around their neck.
Like everyone's doing it. Like
yeah. Just wear your ledger. It's cool. Nothing bad happens.
No.
Yeah, here.
They just know. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
It's just like I have nothing but like negative things to say about this right now, about this company. Crypto community roasts Ledger for stylish cold wallet necklace combo. I am roasting them again because they need to be roasted. Look at that cool guy with his leather jacket and
so cool. He's probably smoking cigarettes.
Probably about to hop on his motorcycle, drive away with the girl on the back. Yeah, it's just bad, dude. It's just bad. Very embarrassing for Ledger, man. Like it's like people just lost the plot. They don't know about crypto, man. Fucking idiots. I agree. I know. Well.
Eloquently stated.
But we need to drag them through the mud in times like this because I've Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me 4 times, shame on you. Like, let's
True.
not also forget the analytics tracking, which is not like they're not hacking you, but it's just not cool for an like Internet Money doesn't track.
They do
GoPulse.com
not.
doesn't track everything. They don't track anything you do. Um, what was the other one? Don't let me forget. What was the other bullshit?
The
Oh, they
the
lost
data
everyone's
leak.
data. The
Yep.
data leak, which was a pretty big deal. Like they have all your house, and unless you moved or changed phone numbers or got changed emails or used, throwaway data, um, hackers have all your data. I mean, yeah, they also have all your data if you like made a Walmart account and stuff like that. Like people are always losing data. Just not a good look for Ledger. And just the way that the CEO is talking in regards to, well, there's no real way that you'd ever know that there's not a backdoor on our stuff. It's like, what kind of confidence does that project? Like, is he actually telling us without telling us that he's made some deals with the lizard people? Like, I don't want to believe that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they are a giant honeypot. They collect so much crypto transaction data passes through all these guys.
Oh yeah.
Um, so let's not use Ledger anymore, guys. Let's not. And maybe
I
go explore internet money. Like, don't put all your money in internet money, but download it, play around, put $100 on there, see if you like it.
that's actually, I'm glad you said that, because I think what a lot of people think that we're trying to advocate for is throw everything in the trash, delete your other wallets now, jump in head first into internet money. And no, I would highly encourage what you just said, Coffee, is that give us an opportunity, right? Put in, some amount of money that's comfortable to you, and see the features that we offer. If you're a PulseChain person, one really special thing about internet money is that we are the only wallet in existence that is on Android, iOS, and Chrome that is native to and optimized for PulseChain. No other wallet can say that. And so when you're out there and you're interacting with PulseChain, you're going to see that you're going to have an awesome user experience in the internet money wallet. Now, that's not to say you can't use other chains. Every chain you can use on MetaMask, you can use on internet money. You can do custom RPCs, but we also preload a lot of chains as well. We also have price tracking for 72 chains. So, like, all Pulse Chain assets have prices in the wallet. All Ethereum, Binance, Polygon, Linea, Base, some
Yeah,
weird obscure chains you've never even heard of. Beyond that, they all have prices completely in the internet money wallet right now. So again, it's another layer of getting away from CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, which MetaMask and relies on for pricing. And so just, yeah, give it a shot. You give our in-app swap feature a shot, and I'd love to talk about that if you're ready to transition there, unless you wanted to go over
sure.
something else first.
Well, I was gonna say I just love the price feeds. The fact that you actually have price feeds of all the Pulse Chain coins. You can't rely on MetaMask taking the time out of their day to prioritize that feature.
Nope.
But that's a feature that I really want. I would like to see. And yes, Rabby also does enable Pulse Chain as a network, a little more friendly, but you're not going to find another wallet like that's Pulse Chain first. And but it's also, I should say, I think you just mentioned this. It's easy to connect to Avalanche or Solana or whatever else you want, any EVM chain, but it starts off with PulseChain, and it has a lot of the nice coin logos that you like, a lot of the price data, and someone says I'm embarrassed to own Ledger. Me too, man. I'm a little I'm a little embarrassed. Not gonna lie, but yeah, let's talk about the DEX aggregation service. That's a brand new feature in Internet Money.
Yes. So we have had the ability to swap within the internet money wallet for about 6 to 8 months now. But what we just came out with about, maybe it's been like 45, 60 days, is we have really, really enhanced our in app swap, which is now live on PulseChain, Ethereum. We just deployed on Polygon and Binance as well. But for PulseChain, it is the best place to swap on PulseChain. And here's why. I know it's a crazy statement to make out there. And all we ask is that, hey, you go test it out and either prove us right or prove us wrong. When you go to do a swap within the Internet Money wallet, it gets quotes from the following liquidity sources. All right. Piteus, 9mm V2, 9mm V3, PulseX V1, PulseX V2, 9-inch Fux. as well as forked over DEXs during the system state copy, Uniswap v2, Uniswap v3, Shiba Swap, Sushi Swap, and Pancake Swap. So whenever you go and do a swap within the Internet Money Wallet on PulseChain, especially, this is true for other chains, but just go or highlighting PulseChain here. It searches all 12 of those liquidity sources. And what it does is it lists, if liquidity is available, it lists a quote right there for you to see, just one on top of the other. The quote that gives you the most token output will be at the top that says recommended option. So if you're someone that just says, hey, give me the most tokens for my swap, that's all I care about, fine. You're just going to click recommended option at the very top. It's clean, simple, easy. But let's say you love PulseX V1 because it has the enhanced buy and burn for PLSX. Well, you can still deploy 100% of your swap on PulseX V1 if you want to be a little more advanced in the game theory with it. And what I just said is true for Ethereum, Binance, and Polygon as well. And what's also really cool is for this service, yes, we do charge a fee. And that's kind of the biggest point of FUD we get is, oh, Internet Money's charging fees. First of all, they're not hidden. They're fully disclosed. Second of all, they're less expensive than MetaMask, Trust Wallet, and other major competitors. So it is competitive in that market. And we are the only wallet in existence that pays 100% of its revenue out to the holders of its token. It's a model that we actually invented. So when you're paying that fee, that's not just going into our pockets. It's going into the thousands of community members who hold our token. And people say, oh, I'll just go directly to the DEX. Well, because you're getting all the quotes compared from all the DEXs at the same exact time, the question then becomes, okay, what DEX are you going to go to? If you want to compare all the quotes at the same exact time, you'd physically have to load up 12 different sources at the same time. And 5 or 4 of those sources don't even have front ends on PulseChain. So you can't even check them unless you know how to go directly to the block explorer or
That part is cool. That part is cool just in case that on the off chance there's some crazy forgotten about deal.
Exactly.
Right. Have you seen anything like that? Like, have you seen any?
Yes, I have. Like, you would think, okay, hey, it has the thickest liquidity on PulseX, so going there is the best. But I've actually seen instances, like, just because, man, we do a lot of testing, obviously, where I was swapping like 5 DAI for 5 USDC, or sorry, 5 DAI for USDC. You would expect that I would get 5 USDC, right? Well, actually, the recommended option was 9 USDC. I got a free $4 because it searched all that liquidity. And instead of an ARB bot getting it, me, the user, got the free $4 because the markets are fluctuating. So you're able to capture those fluctuations.
Nice, man. Congrats on the $4. That's pretty cool.
Thanks, bro.
No, that's awesome.
Stake on me.
Yeah, buy me a coffee sometime. Yeah. It's cool that you're doing all these. That's the one thing I don't think Pateus is doing. I'm pretty sure they're not counting in the forked pancake swap, sushi swap, Uniswap. However, I almost feel like in like 90% of maybe 99% of cases, the Pateus route is going to appear first on the list, right? Because Pateus, for people that don't know, is actually a DEX aggregator already, but you're aggregating the Pateus and everything else individually. And I feel like most of the time Pateus would just win.
A lot of the time Pateus does win, but not all the time. And that's not a slight towards Pateus. I mean, we love Pateus. They provided a great service. Danny, their dev's an awesome guy. Or, that's the only guy that I talk to. So their team seems awesome. But it's just not always number one. That's just the fact.
Okay, cool. Cool, guys.
Yep.
For people that don't know, piteas.io, or just, check out Internet Money, and it'll probably show you as like one of the first options when you're making a swap. It'll probably show you Pateus up there near the top usually. Yeah, people are talking about fees. Look, man, you gotta have some kind of dynamic, right? Like MetaMask, here's how bullshit MetaMask is. They charge you a 0.75% fee on top of the in-app. Like the in-app MetaMask swap will charge you 0.75% on top of the outrageously high Ethereum gas fees already. And none of that goes to the users. That all just goes to the pockets of MetaMask. So this, at least, you've got you've got one of those many similar coin models where you buy the coin, it's a profit sharing. It's the same thing with Fame, same thing with Patea's token, same thing with a lot of these tokens. It's like you're even PulseX, right? You own PulseX, you own a part of the casino in a way. And I don't want to call it a casino necessarily. You own a part of the platform, so you're
No, I
invested in
hear
the
you.
success of the platform. And that's the
Well,
that's the kind of token model that makes sense to me. So it's all good.
one thing that's really special about our token as well is, so it's called time dividend, or time, is that it started out with a fixed supply of 2 billion. Okay. And like I said, 100% of the fees that the wallet generates, the revenue, is distributed to those token holders. So if you hold 1% of the time supply, you're earning 1% of the wallet's revenue. Now, okay, what's the revenue paid in? Just more time token that I have to dump? No. The fee that the user pays, they pay the fee in Pulse, ETH, BNB, Matic. So if you're holding time, you're actually earning native coin. So if I hold time on PulseChain, I'm earning Pulse. So we're seeing these screenshots all the time of like, oh, look how much Pulse I earned today, which is really cool because, okay, so let's say I'm holding time on Ethereum and I'm earning passive income in ETH. Well, if I want to extract my value, I don't have to sell time token. I can sell ETH. But that's the cool thing, is by holding time, you're earning the only asset on any blockchain that has inherent value, and that's the native coin. And then for you game theory tokenomics nerds out there, time actually has a buy and burn. So time is deflationary, which means you're holding relative to the total supply increases passively. So if you have 1% and enough time gets bought and burned that you now have 2%, well, without buying any more tokens, you're now earning 2% of the wallet's revenue just by nature of time being deflationary. So there's a lot of cool game theory and tokenomics there as well.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, and yeah, you've also got liquidity pool earning rewards for yield farming on PHUX. There's some cool stuff, guys. If you want to look into it, again, internetmoney.io. Prepare yourself, guys. The storm is coming. The bug eaters are coming for you. And I
It's
really do
here.
believe that. I don't mean to make people paranoid. I think there will be like a judgment day in crypto where you're gonna see people are like, oh well, yes, like look at Richard putting decentralized front ends up or whatever, as if that's like a bad thing. It's not a reactive move. It's a very proactive move. I don't think the SEC has a clue what HEX, PulseChain, and PulseX really are, because otherwise they wouldn't have tried to claim that they're unincorporated alter egos, like they're decentralized cryptocurrencies. But what I think is more likely is that you're going to see one of the big ones, one of the mainstream like Aave or Compound or Curve over on the Ethereum side. You might see one of these DeFi protocols be a target for
Mm.
centralized government, DOJ or whatever, FBI, just taking down one of those websites. And that's I think what's gonna send the fear through everybody of, oh shit, do we actually have downloadable DeFi, or are we all relying on one single website here? And it's not even on IPFS. Because if that's the case, like a lot of you guys might be kind of screwed. Like for DeFi app developers out there too, make sure you're hosting on IPFS as a backup. Make sure you maybe consider also doing downloadable versions of your software too.
Yes, and you know, you're not wrong, like calling them bug eaters and telling them they're coming for you, because I think it's a hilarious analogy actually, but they are kind of already here. Like one thing that people don't really know is that, how can you fly the rebel flag, bro, and say that America's awesome? But uh, wait, you made me lose my train of thought. Oh yeah,
Something about the bad guys. Yeah.
yeah. So like MetaMask is in large owned and influenced by JP Morgan Chase. And so what's interesting about MetaMask is that not only is 100% of their revenue going in MetaMask's pocket, it's likely leaving crypto and going to the brick and mortar that is JP Morgan Chase. So we are starting to see look, and kudos where kudos is due. MetaMask invented the thing that we all use and has freed us in a way financially. Yeah, but you're right, coffee. They sold out. And unfortunately, they sold out to the guys that were trying to get away from. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, once everyone gets big enough, the centralized powers that be, they strongly incentivize these guys. Either they pay them off so that they'll, absorb the company like an amoeba, or, if you resist, you get death threats. You get, hey, I know you got a couple of kids. It'd be a shame if anything happened to them. So shout out to you. And hopefully, also Richard out there. People forget that Richard's building a keychain. He's calling it a keychain. And that might even be a better way to name these things, right? But everyone knows them as wallets. Really, they're just a keychain. And your keys don't live like on the wallet itself. Your keys hopefully just live with you. And then you sign signatures every time you write something to the blockchain. Every time you make a transaction, you're just signing something using your key. So these central points of failure are something to think about. Like, what are your thoughts on, I don't know, like iOS? We've seen some censorship from the App Store on iOS, or maybe the Google Play Store. And I know you've got a Chrome plugin, so you've got these backups, right? But what would you do in a scenario where like one or multiple of these centralized iOS store or Google Chrome web store like try to censor you?
Well, I'm glad you asked this question because this is actually a point of pride that we don't get to talk about often, right? It's one of these bullish things that, people want to they want to know about price. They don't want to know about the fight really. But so iOS has censored us 3 times now.
Damn.
Maybe 4 times. When we
Oh,
when we
shit.
first got listed on the iOS App Store, so we had got to what was going to be our first release, and we applied for Chrome, Android, and iOS. Chrome and Android got listed in within 2 or 3 weeks. It was very quick. And then iOS though took 7 months to get listed the first time. And we were actually fighting alongside, not directly because we weren't communicating with them, but Uniswap, they have a wallet, and they were fighting Apple alongside us at the same time to get listed. And so we actually had we still do have an international legal team that represents us in what we do. And so we got opinions from across the world, not just America. And we basically fought with Apple and educated their developers and showed them that there are differences between DEXs and sexes, and showed them that no, we are not custodians. So in order to be listed on the iOS App Store, you either A, have to not be a custodian, or B, if you are a custodian, you have to have the proper licensure. It was probably the most grueling part of this entire experience in this product so far, trying to show Apple that we're not custodians, because they don't know the terminology. We're just like, oh yeah, self-custodial DEX, right? To them, that's
Yeah.
it
It's kind of
doesn't,
hard,
it's not,
right?
yeah.
Because they're like, prove that you don't own anything. Like, you want me to show you all this nothing I got, bro? Like, here's a whole look at all my nothing I'm holding.
Exactly. And so after about 7 months of fighting with them and our legal team on our side, we got listed the first time. And then actually in a recent update, when we launched the DEX aggregator, or the enhanced version of it, they didn't push the build. And so we fought with them for another 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks. And we had to go back to the legal opinion. But this is great because this time when we were fighting with them the first time, the swap wasn't in there. And so now so swapping is a big thing for Apple. Swapping is a big thing that they reject. So other wallets with in-app swaps are getting rejected left and right. And so we had to oh my gosh, dude. There was the first response was 20 questions that they wanted all types of intricate information, which we were patient. We provided, and we literally broke it down to where they said, okay, look, we're rejecting you because you said this in your release notes. And we're like, all right, easy. So we finally we got them, and now even the swap is not in question anymore, which is the biggest thing. So rounding that all together, Chrome is
Well
pretty much
done.
thank you. That was a really big win for us. A lot of anxiety, when you fight Apple, but
Yeah.
Chrome pretty much accepts everything. There's almost like, I'd say there's like a 1% chance that you get censored by Chrome. Android is a little more sensory than Chrome, but I'd say there's like, they've only rejected us one version that we've pushed out, and it was for something really silly. Like they wanted like their own test account or something like that. So that was easily fixed. But then to ultimately answer your question, if we do get censored on all three platforms, well, then we're just going to have to bring the technology, either host it on our own website, maybe, or bring it to a store or platform that won't censor, which is actually, look, I'm going to put this idea out there. This is a dream of mine. If someone wants to take the idea and run with it, that's fine. I don't have to keep this one. I just want to see it happen. For those who have ever done any jailbreaking, you're going to know exactly where I'm going with this, but we need a decentralized app store. We need a place where wallets and dApps can actually have applications on phones and browsers that is decentralized, right? It is open source, an open sourced app store that can replace Apple as the ultimate fallback plan, that can replace these things and become the new, like, oh, I'm listed on, decentral app store. I don't know, whatever it is, the dappled
Yeah.
app store.
Dapple. I like Dapple.
Yeah,
That's funny.
hey, you heard it here first, Dapple.
Yeah. Make sure you give some cred to KG on that one. Whoever builds the Dapple store is going to be that's a great idea. I mean, it's unfortunate with open source software that you don't get rewarded for it, right? Unless you slap a token on it like everyone wants to do. So maybe maybe the App Store guy, maybe you pay in the App Store token that's like just more made up internet money. So
Yep,
hey, internet money, I like the name,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
But I guess my other question that came to mind is staking is a big term, right? Staking is a big trigger word for these powers that be. I know you've got
Mhm.
some in-app wallet staking, right, for like the time token and stuff. So was that not as much of an issue then?
Well, the cool thing is, so with time, you actually don't stake it, but that's actually another innovation with time is you just hold it and you earn the income. You can claim it as
Oh,
frequently
right.
as you
Yeah,
want.
that's huge actually, because then you don't have to use the word staking. Staking is what got Gemini in trouble. Staking is why the SEC is
Exactly.
going after Kraken and everybody. That pesky little word staking is also why hex.com says mining on the front page, everybody. Because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but it's just like these 3-letter agencies get so hung up on these tiny little words like staking. So
You're right. They do, because there's so much nuance packed. But yeah, we did get questioned about what is called our dividends page. We did get questioned there, but again, we just had to do our best to legacy developers who really don't care about you, explaining like, look, even though we're showing these rewards that people can claim, they are a mutable smart contract. It's so funny to think about trying to explain these things to them. It's
yeah,
immutable smart contracts on chain, and all we are is a front end with pretty buttons that allows users that self custody their own funds, and they're just like, I'm like, I
yeah, their
get
eyes
you
glaze
guys.
over, like like
You guys think
okay,
you
so
know.
like where's the tokens? So the
I'm like,
tokens are on the wallet. Like, no, not exactly.
sir,
The
please,
tokens don't even
SER.
exist. The tokens are just numbers in the database. So
Exactly.
yeah,
So it's basically giving them, yeah. So we didn't have to face a staking problem, but we did have to answer to the dividends, which we overcame, which was awesome.
cool, man. Yeah. Congrats on dealing with them for 3 weeks. It sounds like that's probably the biggest feature to get your to kind of Trojan horse in there. And I hope that it's all smooth sailing from here. Do you have anything else that coming up you think might be an issue?
I mean, I think when we bring NFTs and in-app bridging into the app, which is on a very near-term roadmap, I think that we may get some pushback from Apple there, but there's a lot of NFT platforms, so I think there's probably enough precedent there. In-app bridging, though, that's a less common feature. But look, MetaMask is being accepted, so it's. But again, they're J.P. Morgan Chase, so he's probably just sliding them, whatever. But so there's precedent to strive for, and so it's just figuring out how do we put it in the wallet that we can always lean back on. We do not custody. That is the key. And so when people say, oh, when fiat on ramp for internet money, well, we're not sure yet, actually, because you start to introduce fiat, Apple comes down on you like a brazen chimp. I don't know. Fiat is like the hardest one for crypto wallets to overcome. So
Well, a lot of people, what
NFTs,
they do is they'll put like Transact or MoonPay or Ramp or like Mercury or what's the other one? Simplex. Like they'll just use a third party and be like, well, the third party's approved, so we're good. Like that's what Staker app does. They're like, well, we got a window to ramp.com, but we're not the ramp.com. So
that's basically the approach we're gearing up for. And also, I don't want to like shout out to the Coast guys. I don't want to do a fiat on ramp because there's a lot of responsibility and just legal infrastructure there. And I don't want to be that guy. That's not a
they're doing
field I want
such
to
great
touch.
work. They're super
Yep.
patient, and because they technically stay outside the flow of funds, I don't think they actually need their money transmitter licenses, which saves them from having to do a recurring yearly bond, meaning they don't have to basically pay every state a bribe of like $200,000, times 50. That's like $1 million yearly of startup costs that you're just eating probably as a loan. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't want to speak for them. I don't work for them, but gainpulsechain.com, a great way to on ramp into crypto, by the way. We've got our own fiat on ramp. That's not KG, everybody. But if you don't know, you should know about. It's going to be like it could be the new True USD of PulseChain. It's kind of like the Coinbase of PulseChain. It really is. But it's early days. And I want to answer this question too, because we talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the video. But Loyal X has a really important question on my opinion of continuing to DCA using Ledger on Pulse X regarding safety. So yes, Ledger sucks. We're talking about how bad Ledger is. As of right now, it is not an issue. The issue is more so which apps you connected your hardware wallet to. So PulseX is still totally fine to use even with your Ledger wallet. And that's because the issue is with the Ledger Connect software package that certain front ends were using. It actually wasn't with the Ledger hardware device this time. But, after all these failures, I would say consider maybe migrating in the next couple of months here. You can take your private key, you can upload that onto a fresh MetaMask or Rabby internet, whatever, and you don't have to be beholden to whatever goes wrong. Or you could potentially upload or send money to a Trezor or something like that. But honestly, today you're totally fine. I'm still doing Ledger transactions. I'm still using it because it's not an issue with Ledger itself that we know of, but it is what it was a software issue with other websites using Ledger software. So PulseX doesn't touch any of that. PulseX never used Ledger Connect. PulseChain HEX, PulseX user unaffected, essentially. If you're using the bridge, if you're using the DEX on either side, ethhex.com or pulsex.com, they're not using the Wallet Connect BS. And even the websites that were using Wallet Connect have all fixed their stuff. But this was just not a good look for all of crypto. It leaves a lot of us feeling very vulnerable, myself included, right? But luckily, everything Richard builds, and a lot of people in the ecosystem, a lot of us kind of build with security first mindset. And now that we understand the risk of Wallet Connect, right, I hope that I won't see anybody really relying on this software going forward, or just blindly trusting that won't happen again. The less third-party dependencies you have, the safer your code is, everybody. But no, you're still good. You're still good if you're DCing into PulseX. Nothing to worry about. It's not like you have to go revoke anything. It's all good. It's all good for now.
And I love what you said about that in this PulseChain HEX, Richard Hart ecosystem, that the builders and the projects that are building, they build with a security first mindset. And when people are out there like, oh, what's the value proposition of PulseChain? Well, the one that I always use is that you have a community of, yes, there's bad actors in our community, of course. There's bad actors everywhere in reality. You can't get away from them. But the actual core of legitimate projects, builders, and users that are here in the PulseChain ecosystem, their philosophy is centered around how can I make this thing as decentralized, immutable, and protect people as possible. It's an ecosystem that is literally centered around the things that people should care about in crypto. And that, in my opinion, is our biggest value proposition as a community, because where else are you going that to have people that care, not only from the builder standpoint, but from the community that beholds the builders to these higher standards? Where are you going? Like I was in a BSC community the other day, Binance community, and this project was touting how awesome it is. And I saw, I was going in there doing research, not being mean. Hey, security audit. I go check out their security audit. They're like, here it is, all proud of it. And everyone's like, see, security audited. The first line, like the major red flag, is unlimited permission admin key. And I'm like, so you got a security audit that says the worst possible thing. What does it matter? But,
Yeah.
So it's like they're just tricking people in a way. And it's like the PulseChain community, that would have come like, no, you wouldn't have been able to pull that one over on people,
No, not for more than a couple of minutes, dude.
Yeah,
You'd be all over that.
Exactly.
All over that.
So
Yeah,
it makes the builders put out better products.
Yeah, you need to hold people to higher standards. It is funny. Someone has an audit, but it's like just having a piece of paper that says you paid for an audit is not like, that's not the point of the audit. By the way, I think Richard Hart popularized. Yeah, it's like, the audit, the first thing on the audit is 5 critical vulnerabilities found. It's like, you don't even need to be a software developer to open the audit and look at, the audit report. Like, having a PDF file is not enough. Just and luckily someone will do that with any PulseChain project within the first couple of minutes. Somebody will actually do that and probably be very loud if it breaks any rules. But shout out to Richard on that one, just because I really think HEX popularized auditing your freaking code. And like, I don't know about you, but after 2020 or before 2019, I didn't really see audits as a popular thing that was in vogue anywhere. Like, it was never a selling point on anything until Richard paid out of pocket for like 3 audits and then used it as a huge marketing point. But it's also like a very good marketing point. And everyone was like, wait a second, we should do audits too, or like, we have audits too. And then you get a lot of half-assing it of like, oh, we have an audit, guys, just trust me. But no, the audit also has to come back okay. Even though you might think that's obvious, but maybe not.
Well, and to that point as well, is so with our wallet, so all of our smart contracts, which you can, if you go to internetmoney.io/audits, you will see all of our audits are there. So all of our tokens have been audited, security audited, and the time token, we also got an economic audit on it. The wallet has had 1 round of security audits already back in January. We are actively in the process of round 2. We're waiting to hear back. We've already submitted. We submitted to the audit firm on December the 6th. So we're waiting to hear their feedback. Now, I bring this up to say no audit is ever going to be all considering, right? There's never going to be one audit firm that can possibly say with absolute certainty, no ifs, ands, or buts, that this is safe and my word is law and this is everything. Because each individual auditor is going to have their own philosophy and perspective of approaching how to validate that this product is or is not secure. So each audit firm is going to find different things. I mean, we're even seeing in Ledger, right? 7, 8, 9, 10 years later, some weird, quirky, complex hack, right? So security audits should never be taken as the end all be all for a product, even if the security audit is great. And so
even if it comes back positive, what happens is that they only test what they know, and what is known are popular exploits that have happened in the past. You can't possibly, by definition, test for a 0-day exploit. That's what that means. It means an exploit that hasn't been discovered yet. Now, as these things are discovered, if it's a better auditing firm, they'll incorporate that. But there's a lot of half-ass auditing firms out there, these low-budget firms, that they'll only check the very obvious, public functions or unlimited admin key permission and like stuff like that. You pay firms a little more, they might check more known vulnerabilities, but there will always be unknown unknowns.
You're absolutely right. And this is why open source, I mean, look, is so important. Yes, there are, you know, releasing your code to the public is, it's a nerve-wracking thing, right? Because you hope that, hey, we've made it secure enough that if other eyes are looking at it, that it's good. But this is why open source is great. One of our lead devs, what he likes to say is that putting code open source is basically like sanitizing things in the sunlight. And I completely agree with that, because we have 2 audits, which is great. We've been battle tested for over a year now. We have over 28,000 downloads across Android, iOS, and Chrome from users all over the world. So we've had over a year of battle testing with thousands of users. We're about to have 2 audits. And when we go to open source, that's open source is really a key, because you now introduce peer review. You now introduce people that, like, you don't have to trust me, my team, or the auditors we chose to hire. Hire your own auditor, hire your own dev, be a dev yourself, verify and give feedback. And so I guess circling this all back to the RH point and the PulseChain ecosystem point is like, that is the ethos of this community. And I believe that we have done and continue to do things that truly embody not only what PulseChain represents, but what good crypto should represent.
It's real DeFi, dude. Real DeFi, real freedom of speech. You're not getting this kind of quality anywhere else. You're not getting this kind of commitment to actual freedom and mad gains. But they go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other.
Yes, yes.
I'm just reading some comments. We're at an hour and 11 minutes, man. I think that people are just talking about stuff that we already talked about. Do you have any final points you want to add? Because we've been going for over an hour.
Man, I think we covered a lot of good ground. I think that you've brought up a lot of good points regarding ledger and safety and security. And I think that everybody out there who's feeling a little nervous, I just want to reiterate, whether it's Ledger, Trezor, any wallet in general, whether it's a software wallet, a hardware wallet, safety can never be guaranteed. And anybody that's guaranteeing you absolute safety of anything you're interacting with in crypto, you should be a little nervous, or at least skeptical, and think, hey, that's possibly not true. And so I just want to really reiterate that a good security practice is not putting all your finances in one basket. Splitting up your finances across multiple wallets, even if you're using internet money only or MetaMask only, like Coffee said, have multiple Chrome profiles and on different seed phrases or different hardware wallets, and mitigate your risk that way. And as far as internet money, again, I just want to reiterate, our website is internetmoney.io. We are still on track by the end of the year to release our second round of security audits, which will take us into our official release, or official release. We're on version 128, but it's a whole nother story. And we ask that you give us a shot. And give us any feedback. You join our Telegram community at InternetMoney.io. We're constantly taking good feedback, bad feedback, troubleshootings. We're giving support, and we're constantly improving, refining, releasing new features. And yeah, that's what I have to say on the matter.
I love it. I love the passion. Guys, KG, real OG builder in the space. Give him a follow. Maybe check out Internet Money, App Store, iOS, Google, and Chrome. Everybody, like, subscribe, share the video, leave a comment. Come on, it takes you like 1 minute and it pumps the algo. And I'll do my show. If you're brand new to crypto, you don't know anything about crypto, get hexpassiveincome.com right down here, hexpassiveincome.com. Code bear market, 25% off. And that's because the bear market's not going to last forever. So if you don't know anything about crypto, you're totally confused. KG dropped a lot of knowledge bombs on you guys about how to do crypto right. But this course also for an unbelievably low price, honestly. Should be charging way more. It's going to give you the confidence to do crypto the right way. Don't get hacked. Don't lose all your money. And we do shout out Internet Money, of course, as an alternative option.
Woo!
Symbiotic relationship there.
And we're shouting out your course too, brother. Great work you're doing there. Keep up.
Thank you for the tip. Hex Monkey, thank you for the tip. This is a tip for me, for you.
Thanks, Hex Monkey. Appreciate you, and appreciate you making us a part of what you do, Coffee. Appreciate you having
Yeah,
me on your stream, giving us a voice, making time for us, and using your knowledge and insight and directing it towards what we do, man. Truly appreciate you in every respect.
later. Later, guys.